Hello student, how are you all? I hope you all are fine and well at your home. Welcome in e-world of the Sanskar Public School. Welcome in e-learning session of SST of class 8. In this video session we are going to learn about very interesting topic, that is chapter number 8, modern education, means English medium. In this video we are going to learn about the modern educations, who brought it in India and what was the system and how it was developed in India. Today, a learner like you goes to school to get your education. There you sit on a chair and have a desk to put your bag, books, a notebook and pen or pencils to write with it. In most of the schools, English is the medium of the instruction. Can you guess who brought all these to us? These things brought by the Britishers, who brought a new style of the education, and now we are getting development in our life by using the new education system, that is the English medium. As we all know, before the coming of the British in our country, only the boys were sent to the school called Pathshalas. In this time, the girls' education was neglected. Pathshala were the school which held class in open or in a room or in a private house. The higher sections of society preferred their boys to be taught at home by private teachers or preferred them to be sent to Gurukul, where special tutors were available to taught them a different subject like that is law code, poetry, philosophy, grammar, geometry and special. In Gurukul, the students mainly learned the religious and the mythological stories and some pahadas. Pahadas means the arithmetic tables like the do ekam do, do duni char, like this, and they used to learn the shloks, doha, chopais, etc. The learners who were interested in the languages of law code, poetry, philosophy, grammar and usage geometry were sent to the Persian school. These called the Maktab. The traditional education system in India underwent a dramatic change after the British when they introduced the Western education among the Indians. The Gurukuls were the Hindu communities, but for the Muslim community there were the madrasas. Madrasas was also called the maktab, in which the Muslim students are getting the education about the Urdu and the Persian language. In the Persian language, the Maulvi was the teacher, taught to the student about the grammar, geometry and the Persian numeral system and the so many other different subjects also. Collectively, the all students had taught under a one roof by a single teacher. Now today start the next chapter of the class 8, that is the spread of modern education. Already we have read in the previous chapter how the modern education means the Western education introduced in India. So now in this chapter we will know what was the previous system in our India, which system we have to follow to getting the education, and what was the culture about the education, and what was the real motive of the British Empire to introduce their language, their education system in India. So now first of all we will know the motives and the development. Evolution means the development, means how the British education developed in India among the Indians, and why the Indian had accepted easily the Western education, and what was the effect was there, and how many difficulties we have to face to easily accepted the Western education. So now let's start. In the medieval time, before the British was in our country, we have to follow the Pathshala system, but the girls' education always were neglected. Only the boys were having a right to go to the schools, but there was not a proper teachers, only the one common teachers was there, and the students were getting the education in an open courtyard, otherwise in an open veranda like and the classroom was also there. Only the one teacher taught to the students. Only boys were having a right Gurukul system and the Pathshala system were there, and the student had to taught the common languages like the philosophy, like the law and psychology, maths and reasoning and logic at extra, not a subject like today. आज जैसे subjects नहीं थे. So now, we will know the motive. What was the real motive? Actually, so many countries were the colony of the Britishers. So that's why the Britishers had a need of a lot of employees, those who can serve to the Britishers at the cheap cost. But it was not possible. If they had to call the Britishers, यानी कि English officials, if they had to appoint the English people on the as a clerk, as a teacher, as a lawyer, then the British government have to pay a high salary to them. Because they all were the educated and they were very aware about the salary and their fundamental right कि how much salary they should go for that post, किस post की कितनी salary होनी चाहिए, क्या मिलना चाहिए, they were aware. So British government knows well, and British government was finding out the idea कि how they can appoint the officers at the cheap cost, at the cheap salary. Then they have to find out the Indians are too much talented, but they don't know how to use their mind in that time. So that's why they decided. That's why they decided that they will introduce the Western education among the Indians, and they forced to them to accept it, because they thought that how many Indians will educated according to the Western education system. Then we will told to them that if they will read the British education system and the Western education system in English medium, then the government will provide the job to them. They thought that. It means that when we told to the Indians that they were after receiving the Western education system, they can easily got the job under the government. Then they also thought that when the Indian will be accepted the British education system, then they will think according to the Britishers, यानी कि वो British की तरह ही सोचने लगेंगे, and then they will never against of the British policy, वो कभी British policies के against नहीं जाएंगे. Even they also thought that कि colonial rule is the fair, colonial rule should necessary to the development. So that's why the opinion of the Britishers to introduce the British education. Yeah, other word we should say the British officers want to supply a low-paid clerk, low-paid teachers, low-paid lawyers, low-paid doctors. That's why they want to complete the supply of these officials from the Indians after providing the Western education to them. Because to appoint under the British government, it was very necessary the candidate and the employees should be aware about the Western education, means the English language. But in India in this time, the Sanskrit was the main language in Hindu, and the Muslim language read about the Urdu and the Persian language. That's why we were not very aware about the English language, because it belonged to the Christian and the missionary. So that the British Empire had established the many of the schools like the missionary, which was by the English medium. And now the next is how the British education development in India, because after this, the British government also passed the Charter Act in 1813. In this act, they have to mention the proposal how much money they will provide to the India to promote the education system. Around 1 lakh rupees per year government granted to the Indian to promote the Western education for the India. So now how the development, yani how this education system developed, and why the Indian government, people and the Indian citizens have accepted that. So it means in this time the many of the British officers were there, like the William Jones, Henry Thomas Falcroft. They thought that we should also get a study about the Sanskrit literature and the culture of the India, because when we will promote the national education of the India, then the Indian will be fair and faithful with us. Because they thought that the government will promote their education system, यानी कि by winning the sentiments of the Indians के sentiment को जो जीत करके easily हम उन पे rule कर सकते हैं. So that's why these people, यानी कि those who want to promote the Indian education system, these peoples were called the Anglicists. These peoples were called the Anglicists. Anglicists means that is the These people were called the Orientalists. Sorry, these people were called the Orientalists. Orientalists are a group of the British people, those who want to promote the Indian education system, and those who were very interested and those who were having the curiosity to know more and more about the Indian literature, culture, and Indian history, and those who want to get the highly qualification. These people like the William Henry and the Colegrove also getting the highly qualification and the master degree in the Indian education system. So that's why they want to promote the Indian education system. But the only few Britishers were there, those who were gave a support to them to promote the Indian education system. Otherwise, they don't want to promote the Indian national education. Even they want to promote their own education system in the India to make popular and to continuous supply of the low-paid killer and the doctors, teachers. Means that in this time, it means these Englishmen means these Britishers who took such deep interest and want to know more and more about the law, philosophy, religion, politics, arithmetic, medicine, and the other science subjects. People are called the Orientalists. And then they have to be set up so many Orientalist schools. These schools were called the Oriental School of Learning. These schools were called the Oriental School of Learning, and the main motive of these schools to promote the Indian education system among the Indians. And in these schools they taught the subjects like religion, politics, arithmetic, philosophy, psychology, and medicine, science, etc. William Jones was the founder of the Asiatic Society. One society was also there, Asiatic Society. This society was formed by the Orientalist people in the 1784, and means that because these Orientalists believe that if we want to rule over the India, then we should first of all know their culture or literature. Until we will not know their culture, literature, and their mythology or the psychology, we cannot hold up them, we cannot make the control over them. So that's why to control over them it was very necessary. First of all we should have the knowledge about their culture, literature to command over them. उनको command करने के लिए उनके बारे में जानना, उनके past को control करना बहुत जरूरी है. So means that the Orientalist education policy was also passed. In this, the East India Company believed that the British should set up the institution to teach the Sanskrit and the Persian languages, and in this because the study of the Indian heritage and the culture to win the heart of the Indian. Yani ki when we will got succeed to win the heart of the Indians after promoting their education system, then easily we can do anything, whatever we want, because the Indian is very simple people and easily they started to follow us. बहुत सीधे लोग हैं, वो सिंपली हमें फॉलो करना शुरू कर देंगे अगर हम उनके कल्चर को, उनके एजुकेशन सिस्टम को प्रमोट करते हैं तो. Same as only then the Indian will be respected. यानी कि when we will promote their education system, we will promote their culture, then we will respect our culture, then we will respect to the British policies also. So that's why according with this opinion, the Orientalists also set up the madrasas, was set up in Calcutta. Calcutta में एक मदरसा को भी set up किया गया in 1781 to promote the study of the Arabic and the Persian law. The Sanskrit college was also established. The Sanskrit college means later it was converted into the Banaras University, BHU. Sanskrit College was also established in Banaras in 1791 by the Jonathan Duncan. Jonathan Duncan was the British Empire officer and the Orientalist also. He was the founder of the Banaras Sanskrit College in 1791. And Baron Hastings was the Governor General in that time, and he was also the supporter. यानी कि Governor General Baron Hastings was also the supporter of the British government. Orientalist, he also want to promote the Indian education system to win the heart of the Indian and to rule over them easily. And then the many British officials believed that they should try to promote the traditional Indian culture, but against of that the one another group of the Britishers also, those who don't want to promote the Indian cultural system. Even they believe that only the scientific, technological and the English education is there, those who can promote the Indian and those who can realize the Indian कि British are the fair. And these people, यानी कि those who have a deep faith to promote only the Western education among the Indians, these peoples were called the Anglicists. Orientalists want to promote the Indian education system. Anglicists want to promote only Western education system. So in this, the many British officials criticize the Orientalists and want to promote the scientific, technological and the English education by a medium of English. And these peoples were called the Anglicists. In the East India Company, the Thomas Macaulay was the leader and the great supporter of the Anglicists and want to promote only the Western education system. So it means that after this, by learning it, they thought that Anglicists thought that the Indian would become the civilized. Means that they thought that the Indian was not the civilized. Civilized नहीं है. Indians are not having the manner, but they can be civilized. They can be getting the manner after learning the Western education system, after learning the technological education and after learning the scientific education system, and this education can provide to them via Western policies. केवल Western policy के through ही हम ये सारे system, ये education उन्हें provide करा सकते हैं. So that's why, but later there was a controversy among the Orientalists and the Anglicists. So that's why the British court gave an order. यानी कि British court support to the Anglicists only, and they passed the act, Charter Act. Charter Act was passed in 1813, and according to that, they passed that only the Western education will be promoted into the India for the Indians and will supply to the low-paid teachers, lawyers at extra for the little salary. And the court also gave the order the British government granted the 1 lakh rupees annually to them to promote the Western education system. And later, to promote the Western education system, they sent to the British officer. The British officer was called the Charles Wood. The Charles Wood was the officer, those who came to India to promote the Western education especially. And then with this act he came to India. That act was called the Charles Wood Act. And then the Charles Wood Act was passed in 1854 when the court of the director of the Britishers of East India Company sent the educational dispatch to India. And the Governor General of the India was the Charles Wood. यानी कि उस समय पे गवर्नर भी कौन बना? Charles Wood. And the president of the board control as a result of the board of dispatch and education was set up. यानी कि many institutions were set up to providing the Western education to India. So now we will know more about these policies by the animation.
Introduction of Modern Education. Charter Act of 1813. As the first step towards the development of education in India, the British adopted the Charter Act of 1813, by which they sanctioned a sum of 1 lakh rupees for the development of education in India. There was a heated debate on the content and medium of education. One group, called the Orientalists, favored the study of traditional learning using vernacular languages. The other group, called the Anglicists, favored the study of Western learning through English as a medium of instruction. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, the father of modern India, also advocated the Western learning. Ultimately, in 1835, the government decided in favor of the promotion of European literature and science among the Indians. Lord Macaulay, the architect of modern Western education in India, wrote a minute in support of the Anglicist. It was approved by Lord William Bentinck, the Governor General of India. The Act of 1835 formally introduced the English education in India. Following the decision, English was made the medium of instruction in the new schools and colleges opened by the government. In 1844, the government declared that English knowing Indians would be given preference in government jobs. As a result, the demand for English education grew very fast. The Krishnan missionaries helped in the spread of Western education. These missions did much humanitarian work by starting schools, dispensaries, hospitals, and homes for women and orphans. They advocated social and educational reforms. Christian missionaries established educational institutions which were attached to their churches in Madras, Bombay, and Calcutta. These institutions were mainly open with the purpose of training Indians to help the company's British officials in administration. Wood's Dispatch. In 1854, the policy of education was given a new direction by Wood's Dispatch, authored by Charles Wood. The dispatch set forth a comprehensive scheme of education in India. It recommended the setting up of a network of educational institutions in the country. It made a provision of education from primary to university level. English was made the medium of instruction for Western knowledge and sciences. It was felt that the time had come for the establishment of universities in India. Departments of education were set up in the provinces in 1854. In 1857, universities were set up at Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay on the lines of London University. After 1854, the company decided to improve the system of vernacular education in India. It felt that this could be done by introducing order within the system, establishing rules, and ensuring regular discipline. It appointed a number of government pundits, each in charge of looking after 4 to 5 schools. The task of the pandit was to visit pathshalas and try to improve the standard of teaching. Each guru was asked to submit periodic reports and take classes according to regular timetable. Teaching was now to be based on textbooks, and learning was to be tested through a system of annual examination. Students were asked to pay a regular fee, attend regular classes, sit on fixed seats, and obey the new rules of discipline. The new system was quite different from the earlier ones. The aims of education had to match the needs of the colonial empire. In the earlier system, the salary of the teachers were paid by the community they served. Now, they became government servants. Earlier, the teachers selected the texts to teach according to the needs of the community. Under the colonial system, the teachers had no say in the curriculum. Passing the examination conducted not by the teacher but by the government became the main goal. Teachers often felt intimidated by visiting school inspectors. From the beginning, the parents who sent their children to English schools believed that there would be a conflict between them and their children. They often blamed the educational system for their child's behavior. Many people started believing that this education was not good for one's character. British educated Indians grew up learning about Pythagoras, Galileo, and Newton without ever learning about Aryabhatta, Bhaskar, and Panini. Many felt embarrassed in acknowledging Indian contribution in the field of arts and literature. Gandhiji wrote in the Harijan that the English education made Indian students foreigners in their own country. A major weakness was the neglect of mass education. Education was more expensive and only the rich and town people could afford it. Scientific and technical education was neglected. However, English education also opened doors to rational and scientific ideas. It spread the ideas of democracy, nationalism, liberty, and socialism. Education was not confined to any one caste or group. English became a medium for conversation between people of different regions, especially during the freedom struggle, though a very small percentage understood English. Hunter Commission. In 1882, Hunter Commission was appointed by Lord Ripon, which made several recommendations for cause of education. Higher education progressed at great speed during the next few decades. Lord Curzon appointed Raleigh Commission to look into the condition and prospects of universities established in India. It submitted its report in 1902. Its recommendations were embodied in the University Act of 1904. The main result of the passing of the Act was to Europeanize the Senate and syndicate of the universities and to turn them into completely government universities. The Indians were opposed to the act because they considered it as restriction of opportunities for higher education for young Indians. It created bitterness among Indian leaders and made Lord Curzon more unpopular among the educated Indians. Lord Chelmsford appointed Seldar Commission to look into the problems of Calcutta University. The commission submitted a voluminous report in 1919 which dealt with the problems of secondary and university education. It provided for special attention to be paid to the education of women. The medium of instruction up to high school was to be vernacular and for later stages was to be English. The Dhaka and Lucknow universities were started in 1921 and Delhi University in 1922. Under the Government of India Act 1919, the Department of Education was transferred into the hands of Indian ministers responsible to provincial legislature. The Government of India controlled and guided the general policy of higher education. Under the Government of India Act of 1935, entire university education was placed under the control of the provincial government. Education and the British rule. After establishing political control over India, British felt that they had a cultural mission to civilize the native population. The spread of Western culture and education gave birth to new social consciousness in India. According to some scholars, the introduction of English education was the single most important factor in bringing about a great transformation of India in the 19th century. In 1783, a person named William Jones arrived in Calcutta. He was a linguist and knew Greek, Latin, French, English, Arabic and Persian. He began spending many hours a day with Pandits who taught him Sanskrit. Soon he was studying ancient Indian texts on philosophy, religion, politics and medicine and other sciences. Jones set up the Asiatic Society of Bengal to discover ancient texts and translate them. Traditional education in 19th century India. William Adams' report about education in Bengal and Bihar gives us an idea about the kind of education that prevailed in India in the late 18th century. He reported that there were about 1 lakh village schools in the region. There were elementary schools called Pathshalas for Hindus and Maktabs for Muslims. There were no printed books and teachings were done orally in the vernacular languages by gurus in the Pathshalas and Maulvis in the Maktabs. Children of wealthy families were often taught at home by paid tutors. A pupil's education was regarded as complete after he got the amount of knowledge thought necessary by the teacher. The system of education was flexible. Adam discovered that this flexible system was suited only to local needs. For instance, classes were not held during harvest time, when rural children often worked in the fields. Centers for higher education were few in numbers and they were mostly patronized by rulers or nobles, and their students were mostly upper-class Hindus or Muslims. Hindus received higher education in tolls, kind of academy, where the medium of instruction was Sanskrit. Muslims received higher education in madrasas, where the medium of instruction was Persian. Among the subjects taught were law, mathematics, science, literature and philosophy. However, the spirit of inquiry was not promoted. Hence, the students were not aware of the latest developments around the world. Trivia. Tolls referred to the traditional kind of school common in India before the British. Coming of the British and education. The English East India Company did not take any interest in education of Indians in the beginning. The need to learn English language was felt by a number of people in India. English traders also needed to learn the Indian languages for trade transactions. In the 18th century, Warren Hastings set up the Madrasa Aliyah to study Muslim law and related subjects, and in 1791 Jonathan Duncan started the Sanskrit school at Banaras for the study of Hindu law and philosophy. The British interest in education began in the second decade of 19th century. The government realized that it would be better to employ educated Indians as it would drastically bring down the administrative costs. Moreover, such educated Indians under the influence of Western learning would be loyal to British government. They would easily accept British goods. Charter Act of 1813. As the first step towards the development of education in India, the British adopted the Charter Act of 1813 by which they sanctioned a sum of rupees 1 lakh for the development of education in India. There was a heated debate on the content and medium of education. One group called the Orientalists favored the study of traditional learning using vernacular languages. The other group, called the Anglicists, favored the study of Western learning through English as a medium of instruction. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, the father of modern India, also advocated the Western learning. Ultimately, in 1835, the government decided in favor of the promotion of European literature and science among the Indians. Lord Macaulay, the architect of modern Western education in India, wrote a minute in support of the Anglicist. It was approved by Lord William Bentinck, the Governor-General of India. The Act of 1835 formally introduced English education in India. Following the decision, English was made the medium of instruction in the new schools and colleges opened by the government. In 1844, the government declared that English qualified Indians would be given preference in government jobs. As a result, the demand for English education grew very fast. The Christian missionaries helped in the spread of Western education. These missionaries did much humanitarian work by starting schools, dispensaries, hospitals, and homes for women and orphans. They advocated social and educational reforms. Christian missionaries established educational institutions which were attached to their churches in Madras, Bombay, and Calcutta. These institutions were mainly opened with the purpose of training Indians to help the company's British officials in administration.